we have turned it around this season as of the last week or so, 2 weeks or so. We had a good series against, I want to say Baltimore was first, or should I say Cleveland, Baltimore. I think I have it here. Actually, I was trying to go off of memory, but the Stephen Curry thing just fucked me up. It was Baltimore, Detroit, Houston, and the Nationals. We won all of those series, thankfully. Or should I say, actually, we split the Baltimore series. We went 2-2. We swept Detroit. We took 2 out of 3 against the Astros, and I believe we took 2 out of 3 against the Nats. All of this pretty much coming on the shoulders of Giancarlo Stanton, who was on a 13-game hitting streak, batting .292 with 9 home runs. He's playing out of this world. He just walked us off the other day. I believe Gleyber Torres walked us off the day before, and so on and so forth. The Yankees are just turning it around right now. After the retirement of Jay Bruce, we've kind of rotated first baseman between Miguel Andujar, DJ LeMahieu, Mike Ford we called up. I believe Luke Voigt is getting called up from Scranton today at some point. I believe because we just sent Andujar down, and Voigt just hit a fucking moonshot last night in Scranton. So, I mean, I believe he's just coming back to form. I believe we'll get our full lineup right back. Pitching has been great. Corey Kluber's been playing great. Garrett Cole's obviously been doing his thing. Domingo Germán has been playing better. Obviously, our bullpen's been doing its thing for the majority of this season with Michael King, Aroldis Chapman, Justin Wilson, and so on and so forth. The team is just they look a lot better. We look a lot more poised as of late. We still have some struggling offensive players like Aaron Hicks on the team, Mike Ford, as I had stated. I believe Clinton Frazier is kind of in a little bit of a slump. Gardner hasn't been playing the greatest. But again, overall, the team has just been performing at a much better clip. And we are just, I believe, a couple of games out of first place, if I'm not mistaken.
3.5.
Yeah, we're about 3.5 out of Boston in first. Honestly, you couldn't have paid me enough money to think that Boston would be first, especially the way that Toronto's been playing earlier. And the way that the Rays were kind of clapping us up early on in the season. Ironically enough, we are about to enter a 3 to 4 game series against them in the next couple of days. I believe it is a 3-game series. So, yeah, I'm happy. I am not satisfied because, like I said, we still are struggling in places we shouldn't. But it's better than we were 2-3 weeks ago. Gary Sanchez is still playing like dog water. He did hit a home run maybe about a couple of days ago. Doesn't justify his shit performance, which is why Kyle Hashimoto has taken a little bit more of a starting role as I would have rightfully expected. I believe my case of beer will be nicely added to the fridge, or should I say it'll cancel out my other loss for our bets. And I won't have to get a Gary Sanchez jersey this summertime. So, I mean, Kyle, I know you haven't been able to watch a lot of Yankees baseball, but I know you've been keeping up with at least the statistical portion of it somewhat. What do you think, man? Are we trending in the right direction? Are we going in a place do you think can continue for the success or what?
Yeah, I think you guys are all right now. It's better than what you guys started out with. You guys were freaking like 5-10 the first 15 games of the season. You guys were in last place in the AL East. And granted, you know, the bottom end of the AL East is not that special because Baltimore is not that good of a team. Toronto, they have their moments, but they're just too inconsistent for my taste. Really, I think the top 3 teams in the AL East this year are pretty much right where they are, with the Red Sox being at the top, the Yankees second, and the Rays being third. It's still very early in the season, but the one thing that I do like is that it looks like the bats are finally coming alive. And it's nice because now it takes a little bit of pressure off the pitching staff to be on all of the time. So I would like to see them try to maybe get into the higher single digits when it comes to runs per game, just because I think that this team has the power and decent hitting to really make that a reality, just to kind of take some pressure off that pitching rotation, like I just mentioned. So the one thing that I will kind of pay attention to is, like you mentioned, the rise of Kyle Higashioka. I probably said his name wrong. I'm sorry if I did.
Higashioka.
But whatever. It's just, if he can keep playing at the clip that he's been playing at, because he did have a nice little stretch. I want to say this was maybe like a week or two ago. I forget who they were playing. He had a nice 3-game series where I think he hit like 2 home runs in back-to-back games and was knocking in some some nice RBIs with some decent hits. So,
Yeah.
granted, I'm not as in depth. I don't have a lot of in depth knowledge about the Yankees as you do.
Yeah, I'm
but
pretty sure it was the Indians.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I remember.
Yeah, the Indians.
I remember watching that. But this team is heading in the right direction for sure. They're in a lot better position than they were 2 to 3 weeks ago, where they were really struggling to get the bats going. But they keep this going. I think they have Luke Voigt coming back within probably the next week or two. Just kind of depends on how his rehab starts in Double and Triple A go. But when I look across the landscape of the AL altogether, the Yankees are right there. They're definitely a top 10 team right now. So I don't know if they would be like a top 5 team. I don't know if I would go that far yet.
Not yet.
They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. They've been playing better at home, and they're winning most of these series, whether it's 3 games or 4 games, in the last month or so. So the main thing right now is just to stay consistent. It's going to be a long season, and we're not even a quarter of the way through the season yet. So,
which is beautiful. It really is beautiful. I love baseball season. It's so long.
Yep, it's a slow burn, but the one thing I would like to see them try to get by the end of this month is try to narrow that gap between themselves and the Red Sox. Maybe try to snag that top spot in the AL East. That'd be a pretty solid goal to hit by, I don't know,
June.
Maybe this time, maybe a month from now, maybe early June. But I think they'll be okay. I think they're in a lot better position than they were a month ago. I'll say that for sure.
Oh, 100%. I think that the stadium was electric when Houston came in to the stadium. That was the first time that obviously Houston came to New York after the scandal situation. Obviously last year there were no fans. So this is the first time that fans got to really let them have it. I got to watch a lot of that first game on my phone and on the TV. I watched about 5 innings of it. I had some errands I had to run afterwards. But yeah, the stadium and the fans let them have it. A lot of signs out there, a lot of shit talking, a lot of heckling out there in the outfield. New York is waking itself up. It's becoming itself again. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about it a multitude of times. When the Knicks do good, New York does good. And now all 3 teams in terms of the respective sports right now, the Knicks and the Nets playing very well, and the Yankees and the Mets both playing very well as of late. New York is on a rise right now in sports, and I could not be happier that the city is doing as good as it is, and again, in relation to sports. And I think that the Yankees are, like I said, trending in the right direction. And as you stated, we have a long way to go. But I couldn't be happier right now. I'm not satisfied, as I stated before, but I'm in a better place than I was a few weeks ago. So I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, because you were pretty hot when they were in last place of the AL East. You were saying, like, I've had enough with this team.
Yeah, it just, when you have players like that literally cost majority of certain franchises' entire payroll between 2 players, you really sit there and you're like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Our most expensive player on the payroll, and Giancarlo Stanton, is finally playing up to par. And, knock on wood, he's playing healthy. So that's relatively huge. And like I said, 9 home runs, batting .292 in a 13-game hit streak. He's doing really, really, really well. And I'm just hoping he keeps it at that pace, or, somewhat in that ballpark. Gleyber needs to wake up. He had a couple of good hits, a couple of good, decent games the last week or so. He had a walk-off. DJ LeMahieu's getting back to his ways of getting on base and at least, making his presence known, of at least giving us an opportunity to get batters in. We just really need to get Aaron Judge on that consistent basis again. I know he had a couple of home runs this past week as well, and some clutch walks. So I'll leave it at that.